Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Irish Zone. I'm your host, Noel. How are you? Hope you're all doing well. I was going to say Noel Zone, but I'll just say Noel. That's my name, Noel. Welcome. Just before we start, I've been told in the comment section, don't know how true it is, but I hear that YouTube is cracking down on some of the footage that has been thrown up on YouTube channels all across the platform. So I'll keep you updated on that and see. Well, obviously, you will see if anything happens, because if I suddenly stop uploading and stop streaming, then you'll know something has happened. But let's hope that doesn't actually happen. And just before we get into the main news, so just before I came on live, I was told that there was a person running around Inchicore with a knife, threatening people and trying to rob them. Now, I haven't heard any more in relation to it, but there was another incident in Dublin city centre of a naked man walking around, parading around the streets. Now, a member of the public took it into their own hands and actually, I would say, pushed them onto the ground. But this is the city, this is the country that Helen McEntee and her cronies in Dáil Éireann and society they have us living in, and they think it's acceptable. Now, I'm going to start off with the Gardaí, because the Gardaí have been under a lot of spotlight recently. Now, I'll get into Newtown, Mount Kennedy shortly, because there's two parts of the little intro that you saw there that are actually connected, and it's got to do with the far right narrative that I want to speak about as well today, in relation to your woman Aoife, who was on RTE. Now, while she did obviously get into what the public order unit said, something that she said that I want to highlight, but we'll get into that in just a few minutes. Now, anybody that's listening, if you have any comments, leave them in the chat. I will read them out, obviously. If I can throw them up on screen, I'll throw them up on screen. Please keep it clean. And the reason why I say that is because YouTube, I put up a short just to show you anyway, because some people in the comment section are saying that their comments are being either deleted or they're not showing up, and they have to post their comment again. Well, the reason for this is because YouTube or Google have this algorithm that picks up certain words. Now, I said this the last time I went live. In order for your comment to go up and get around that, you will have to use alternative words to the coursey words that you want to use. I know there's a lot of anger out there, and you want to call these politicians every name under the sun. I have no problem and issue with that, by the way. I want to make that absolutely clear. But YouTube do. So if you want to write a comment, and you want to get your opinion across in a manner that you'd normally do, try to think about that you are on YouTube, and YouTube will actually hide that comment. So what I have to do every day is go into the hidden section and see if your comments are there. And there's ones that are hidden for bad language. So what I'm trying to say is, instead of using the bad language, which I absolutely agree with, by the way, because I throw F-bombs, and I can on here, which is weird, but you can't do it in the chat. So use alternative words to get around it, is what I'm trying to say. It's not that I'm blocking these or comments. I would absolutely not do that. Every single person's opinion is valued, no matter how big or small it is. We are all in this together, okay? Anyway, let's get into the Gardaí. So, video footage I threw up on the channel, which I'm going to show here again, of Gardaí telling journalists to not go into the Lion's Den in relation to the tent city that has propped up in Dublin in Mount Street, okay? And this is absolutely startling to me, because the Gardaí's job is to protect citizens. But yeah, they're warning these journalists if they go in there, something might happen to them. Don't walk into the lion's den. So I'm about to show you that bit of footage. I've already got it all ready to go because I'm prepared again, you know. We got Thomas Hughes in the chat as well. Welcome, Thomas. Nice to have you here. We got 19 people watching at the moment. If you could do us a favor and share the stream, every little helps. Leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. So let's get into this. Hopefully we have a flawless transition here, which we do. Now, guys, the Gardaí take a note, and you probably saw that a member of the public in Newtown, Mount Kennedy, I put up the footage, read the oath that the An Garda Síochána take, with a whole crowd behind him, and the crowd were cheering in the background. If you haven't looked at that footage, please go and have a look. Thanks for all the work and keep it up. Thank you. Also, I just want to just give a shout out to I think it's hold on, I'll tell you now. Where is he? Yeah, Dave, if you're watching, Dave Tomo, if you're watching, obviously, you know, you told me that I could use some of your music for some of the videos. Obviously, by the time I had put the video together and edited it all together, the video was over 7 minutes long. So I used a different piece of music. But the next time I do put up a video, as promised, I will actually use one of your songs. There's a couple of songs that I actually thought were really great. So if you're listening, I just want to give you a shout out, because I don't forget. I don't want people thinking that I'm one of these people that will say things and not go through with it. I will, as I said, when I put another video together, I will obviously pick the song that I've chosen, and I'll let you know, as I said, because I'll write in the link description of your comment section of that song. I'll let you know that I've used it. Anyway, let's get into this, because this is absolutely ridiculous, folks. Right, the Garda Síochána are paid to protect the public. Now, if you're telling journalists that they can't go to this particular place because it's dangerous, then my question would be, what the hell An Garda Síochána doing? Well, I'll tell you what they're doing. They're down in Newtown, Mount Kennedy, beating up protesters. That's what they're doing, right? That's what they're doing. Peaceful protesters, right? And they've done this. And by the way, if I hadn't seen it for myself, and this is the thing, I've been, as I said, at Dublin protests and stuff, and I've seen the Garda tactics for myself, right? Yeah, I know there's a belief out there from the Irish people, or some out there, that the Gardaí, you know, have integrity and they wouldn't resort to these bully tactics. Well, I've seen it for myself firsthand, and I can absolutely tell you that oath, that piece of paper is written on, it's to them, it's not even worth the paper that it's written on, and that's what's sad. But let's get into this. The video is up, and we play this now, and hopefully we have no issues here. Sometimes X has issues here, but let's see if it works out. So here we go. I'm pressing play.
If we get views, will you arrest people who abuse from anywhere along this? Because you will arrest us. So will you arrest them? We live in Ireland. This is the Lion's Den. This is the Lion's Den. I've been saying what we want in our own country. Nobody's saying we're not. There's no need to leave down here. So we're going to be paying tax for our own country to walk down our own country, but I can't do it now. That's not fair enough. It's not fair enough.
I know that lad, by the way, the lad with the dogs. He always has his dogs at the protester. Really nice man. Really nice man. He wears a camera at all times as well, because, you know, the way the Gardaí being treating people. So he wears a camera, so he makes sure he records everything. So just in case he's brought up in front of a judge, he can say, look, I have the footage here.
You've heard what the guard said, if you get aggressive to be arrested. Slay his go. All I know is a little bit more popular than fucking most. Tell you what's warm down here, isn't it?
So there you go. The Gardaí said, don't walk into the lion's den. Don't walk into the lion's den. So we're being told that we can't walk around in our own country. An Irish man that's born and bred here cannot walk around the streets of Dublin because he might be in danger. That's coming from the Garda Síochána. I know, mate. I'm hearing sirens. Listen, I'm in this apartment, I think nearly going on, I think the wife said it's nearly 9-10 years, whatever it is, right? In all the time I've been living here, in the past year alone, I have never seen or heard so many sirens, because I see the flashy lights, ambulances and all, right? Garda cars flying up and down. Yeah, it's constant now, and we will be talking about the obviously the what happened, the incident in today. I've got that article by Grip Media there, which we will be covering. But back to these Gardaí, right? Helen McEntee has made the claim that Dublin is safe, right? And it is a claim, because that's all it is. This city is not safe. It's not safe. It's not safe for anybody. It doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a child. Nobody is safe in this country, right? And that's because of this current government. Now, I could highlight Helen McEntee and the spat with the British government, right? But it's gone international. You already know that she's made a show of this country, and so has our government made a show of this country. Okay, so I don't want to get into that. I want to focus on what's going on in our city and around the country. And, you know, we've got many accounts like this here, this guy here, spreading the news and getting the information out there. Now, as I said, YouTube apparently is supposed to be cracking down on footage that's going up, but none of the footage that we've put up goes against YouTube's terms of service. The problem is that the Irish government and Twitter will start forcing the issue, and especially when this hate speech bill comes in, channels like this and channels that are out there that have been going longer than mine will be all of a sudden in direct risk of being taken down, because the government want to control the flow of information and the narrative. That's what I mean. It's absolutely disgraceful what's happening to this country. It's fucking devastating. It's devastating. But it'd be I want to make this point though. It would be a lot worse if I hadn't been for people from day one on the ground alerting the Irish people to this. Right? So, you know, I always say to those guys, because I'm in the chat with those guys, and I say it to them, you know, just look at what you have achieved. Look how far we've come. This country would be in a worse state if it wasn't for those on the ground. As I said, like Fergus Power, you know, like Kevin, Conway and Eric English, you know, and then you've seen yourself in Newtown, Mount Kennedy. You have Philip Dwyer there, and he even called out other nationalists. Where were you guys? Why weren't you guys there? You know, there are people on the ground that have been there from day one, and you know, it's a credit to them, because we'd be in a lot worse state than what we're actually in now. We actually think it's bad, and it is, right? But it'd be a lot worse if it wasn't for these people highlighting everything and inspiring people to get out there. So I'm forever grateful to these people, because this country would be in a worse state if it wasn't for those people that had the courage to get out there and didn't care what the media or what TDs called them. They did what they had to do to highlight it and to bring it to this point. It's mad every 10 minutes, I know. Another, and there was one in London as well. I know, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's heartbreaking. It's happening everywhere. And these politicians are trying to tell us that it's racist and it's a far-right narrative. But people can see it with their own eyes. And the people that ignore it, right, or have their head buried in the sand, right, they're just as bad, because they're helping. They're not, you know. Oh man, there's PD, one of me mods on the other channel. He's a good man. He lives in the UK, and again, you know, it's absolutely crazy. Anyway, let's get into this Grip Media, because we've got more. Because, you know, as I said, it's forever ending. It's like the never ending story. It's just like it's just one thing after another. Now, the link to this article is in the link description. It's not actually that long, but it's from Grip Media. A man seriously injured in homeless tent outside Irish Times office. A man has been seriously injured after a stabbing incident which took place outside the Irish Times offices building at approximately 10:30 yesterday at Dublin's Tara Street. Now, the video that I threw up was outside that, but I just have to say, looking at that video, there was a lot of blood there. Now, what I've been told, and in the chat that I'm in, is this is what it is. Apparently, allegedly, multiple people have been stabbed. Now, they don't know whether it's migrants or whether it's Irish people. But the media here are reporting one person. So, as I said, you know, they say more to follow there. But forensics were there. For anybody that wants to see the video, it's in the community tab. The link is there. I originally put up some photographs, but I just realized when I put them up that YouTube might think they're too graphic. So I took them down, and then what I did then instead was I just put the link in the community tab. So the link is there. The video is on X. So if you want to have a look at the video yourself, you tell me by looking at that video if you think it's one person, because that looks like a lot of blood to me. And as I said, forensics were there because they were all geared up as well. There was a bloke there, and he's all white suit and his gloves on, and he was writing something down, and there was a car there. And then in this video, on the opposite side of the building, and this was a worker that was working on a building and saw all of this. And then he walks over to the other side of the building, and there's Gardaí there, and there's another tent there. So there looks like, in fairness to me, it looks like if you look at that video, there's more than one person. Right? Now, is this another case of the Irish government covering up that something bad has happened in this country, because tensions are already high, especially after Newtown, Mount Kennedy, And now if we had this sort of incident where multiple people have been, you know, then that would cause a lot of chaos, to be quite honest with you. So, you know, again, I go back to the person that's responsible, and that's the Justice Minister and this government, this current government. Helen McEntee is the Justice Minister. It's her job to make sure that Irish citizens or anybody that's in this country right now is safe. It's an absolute joke. They've absolutely dropped the ball on all of this. Instead of admitting that they've messed up, they continue to dig a deeper hole for themselves. And this is why I said it. We cannot wait for a general election next year. This country will be worse off in a year's time. We need a general election before the end of the year, or in a couple of, we need a general election ASAP. There is no time to wait. Nationalists have been canvassing. Let's hope they've done enough to make an impact, but we cannot wait. And Sinn Féin are walking around as if they're going to get in. And I'm being honest with you, I'm actually kind of worried that they might. No matter what's happening in the communities and being run out of communities and people, the opinion poll showed that support is up for Sinn Féin. It's down for Fianna Fáil, and independence is up. So, you know, there's another siren there. It's every fucking 2 minutes, man, here. It's ridiculous. Anyway, hold on, because the next topic now is on Newtown, Mount Kennedy. So, you've all seen the footage by now. I've thrown up enough footage, and loads of other channels have also thrown up some footage. Everybody's thrown up footage all over the place. It went viral anyway, all the footage that was posted up online. And we all seen the events and the public order unit attacking Irish citizens. Now, I'm going to play this here. Now, RTE might have a problem with it. We'll find out anyway. I put up a version where I actually covered our faces and all of this, so I don't know if I can actually get away with this, but we'll do it anyway, because you have to listen to this. So, RTE have a new show called Up Front or something. I don't know, because I don't watch RTE, but they have this political show, and they obviously had some members of the audience that were from Newtown, Mount Kennedy. Now, you know, they probably had no choice, but we do know that when RTE bring in a studio audience, it's normally always the same people, but in this case they couldn't. They had to bring people on. So a woman called Aoife was on the show, and she explained quite well the events that happened. Now, I'll talk about that, but there is something that she did say in it that links into another part of the topic that I wanted to talk about, but I'll get into that in a minute, right? But I want you to hear what Aoife said. And this shows, by the way, this shows that the people that the media and the TDs out there claim are the far right have been telling the truth all along. And I've seen it for myself, by the way. So I'm apparently far right because I'm part of this movement, right? But I've seen it myself, right? I actually threw up footage on X as well. I've been throwing up loads of footage on X before I came here on YouTube, like everybody else at these. I saw the first protest I went to, within 15 minutes of being there, 2 people were arrested in front of me. Public order unit, right in front of me, right, and they were dragged away, right? So I seen it firsthand. So I already knew that the Gardaí were using tactics that they shouldn't be using. But Aoife is going to tell you exactly what happened that night. But there is one part of this that she does mention that I'll bring up after the fact. But let's get into this because you need to hear this. And before I do play, Drew Harris needs to resign, and Helen McEntee actually needs to resign. If you think brutalising the Irish people is the way to go, you're sorely mistaken. If you think the Irish people are going to back down, well, they showed the next day in Newtown, Mount Kennedy, thousands of them turned up, right, to show that they are defiant and they will not back down from this absolutely ridiculous government policy, and it's reckless. It's reckless. Anyway, here's Aoife.
I was there, and I stood there, and there was no one throwing anything. There was no one touching guards or anything. The public order unit, the soft caps were there, and then suddenly these vans arrived. They pulled in, and to be honest, we thought they were the immigrants coming in. So that's why everyone was looking and saying, "Oh, here they are, welcome them." And they walked around and stood behind. They gave no warning to get out of the way. They gave no prior knowledge, and it was like charge and bash, and that's what happened.
Okay, now we did ask the guards directly about this. They directed us back to the statement that they gave last week in the immediate aftermath of this. They said, which that statement said that uniformed Gardaí have been subject to both verbal and physical abuse throughout the day, which escalated into rocks and other missiles being thrown this evening. Fires have been lit and an axe has been recovered by Gardaí during this evening's incident. And I say that was in the aftermath of the incident. How has this left your relationship with the guards, Aoife?
We're just broken. We're actually broken-hearted. We were there peacefully protesting for 5 weeks. We had a great relationship with our community guards. They pop up every few hours, say hello. We'd offer them a cup of tea. We did have people like far right, whatever you want to call them. And we rang. I was there myself, and we rang the community Gardaí to escort them away because we're not about that. That's the relationship we had with our community Gardaí. And now, just to force in these public order units, it's broken trust, and we're meant to trust these people, and we just feel so let down.
Right. So she's explained what happened there. So they gave the crowd no prior warning to move away. Now, the Gardaí statement basically says, well, Irish people were throwing hurty words at us. And apparently they're claiming that missiles were thrown at them. I can tell you now that that never happens at any of the protests that we're at. Nobody throws missiles. We know not to do those things because that's exactly what they want us to do. So they can run to their media friends and then report, oh, look, there are a bunch of thugs and this, that, and the other. That doesn't happen, folks, right? So that's a lie. For starters, okay? It's a lie. And I know it is a lie because I've been at these protests, right? And it doesn't happen. I was at the one in Coolock, right? Not the most recent one, but the one before that. I was there with a load. I got a lift over because I'm on the opposite side of the city, but I got a lift over and I saw how the Gardaí do their tactics, right? They blocked off the roads, they did, right, on either end, and they tried to make it out it was us blocking the roads. Anything to frame, and the media are always there, but the media now have been run out of Coolock. They've been told not to come because they're not telling the truth, reporting the truth, right? But the Gardaí attacked Irish people because Irish people threw some insults at them, right? Listen for a minute. Insults, right, is all you are getting because the Irish people are civilized, right? The behaviour of the Gardaí, right, in all fairness, you're lucky that the people are so patient, right? Because we've seen in other countries when the people have had enough. All we've ever asked you guys to do is do your job. And if there's any decent Garda out there, you need to, I know you are detectives, or if there's any good detectives out there, you need to be investigating what's going on in this country. You need to get down to the bottom of the corruption, and it goes high up. Someone needs, with a backbone, with the guts, needs to investigate this Irish government. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous what's going on. Now, on to Aoife, right? She said that they had a great relationship with the community Garda, and she did do the quotes with the far right thing, or whatever they are, right? But I want to say to everybody in all of these communities that do turn down help from these guys that have been there from day one. Have you all forgotten that it was their communities, those people that you labelled far right, it was their communities that were hit first? I think you all forget that. I think you all forget that, right? They've seen what happens when this sort of thing happens that they're trying to do in Newtown Mount Kennedy. They've seen it all before. And they see it happening all over. And then when these people try to help or journalists go in there to try and that are on your side, that are trying to highlight what's happening in your community, you turn them away. So my message to all the communities out there is quite simple, right? You need to stop listening to a far right narrative. And if you do believe there is a far right, I'll say, well, then put that aside. You need to put that aside. Because you will have more incidents like Newtown Mount Kennedy, right? You'll have more places all over this country, right, that'll have to prepare for migrants going in, not knowing where they're coming from, right? So you can't afford to be turning away people and turning away support because you're listening to Paul Murphy, or you're listening to RTE, or you're listening to Virgin Media about this far right. There's no far right in Ireland. Just want to wake up and cop onto yourselves anyway, right? They're concerned citizens just like you. Their places were hit first. Dublin was hit first. So we've got the experience before the rest of the country. So we know what's coming. So when people from Dublin want to come down and support you, you shouldn't be turning them away. It's as simple as that. You should be embracing them. They'll help get your problems out there, right? They will help to get out what's happening in your community, because RTE is not going to do it. Virgin Media is not going to do it. News Talk is not going to do it, right? So you all need to cop onto yourselves. And people like Aoife don't help the situation, in fairness. Yes, she did explain what the guards did, and fair play to her. But then she kind of ruined it all with coming out with this far right bullshit. You all need to cop onto yourselves. There's no far right in this country. Concerned citizens, just like yous, are concerned, right? It happened in Dublin before it happened anywhere else. We saw it happen first in front of our eyes. And this is what I said. They put you into this label. Far right is a night could dehumanize you. That's why all these labels come out. It's all to dehumanize people, to make people like Aoife think that there is bad people going around, right? And I can tell you that the recent fires and all that are going on have nothing to do with our side whatsoever, right? And I'm telling you now, right, we don't engage in any of those tactics. Right, we don't need to engage in any of those tactics because we're winning, right? The referendum showed that Irish people are on our side, right? They mightn't all want to get out there because they're afraid of the consequences, right? But the country supports this movement, right? Because the Red C polls show it, right? The referendum showed it, right? The support is there. So people need to cop onto themselves. There is no far right, and you need to fucking get away from that narrative that these lefty lunatics, listen, they've all lied to you. They've lied to you, right? Even with the referendum, they held back information, right? Until journalists, Grift Media, or was it Grift Media? I don't know who it was. I think was it the Ditch or whoever it was. I don't know what outlet it was, but they acquired the information through the Freedom of Information Act, right? And it showed that they were lying to the Irish people. So these people have lied to you. So let me get this straight. They've lied to you all this time, and but you're going to believe them about a far right movement in this country. I mean, sanity has gone out the window, right? I know some of these people, right? They welcomed me when I had enough, and I reached my breaking point with this. And I decided to get out there and support my fellow Irish man and woman. When I turned up at that first protest, I was welcomed with open arms. I never met a nicer bunch of people, and I'll say it, and I'll defend them all the way. I'll defend them all the way, because the portrayal of these people is absolutely disgusting, right? Because it's not the people I've met. It's not the people that I've stood side by side with, worried about what's happening to this country and its communities all over. And I'm sick and tired of this Irish government and the media lying to the people. Because if the people actually knew the true extent of what's going on in this country, and even we don't, right? But I can tell you now, it's a lot worse than we actually do think, right? We've seen journalists and all, right, transporting migrants back to Dublin after they were forced out because Leo didn't want anybody here for the Paddy's Day. He didn't want Dublin to look like a crap hole, so he moved all the migrants because he doesn't really give a shit about them. See, this is the thing that none of these lunatics out there understand, right? The government doesn't even give a shit about them, right? It's bad enough that they don't give a shit about us, but they promised all of these people the moon and the stars, and they're living in tents. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely unbelievable, but people need to get away from this narrative, and communities out there need to be embracing these people, because these people are the people that can highlight the plight of what's going on in your area, right? Because RTE, as I said, are not going to do it. None of the mainstream media are going to do it. None of the mainstream media are your friends. Your government is not your friend. Your local TD or councillor is not your friend. They do not give two shits about you, right? It doesn't matter if you're born and bred here. They do not give two flying craps about you, right? And it's about time you all woke up to that fact, right? This is the most corrupt. Listen, we've had bad governments throughout our history, right? And all of them, as far as I'm concerned, have let the Irish people down. That's my opinion on it. But this government is the worst because it's the most corrupt. It's openly hostile towards its own people, and is lying about members of citizens of this country, trying to make them out. You know, Paul Murphy coming out with terms like far right, you know, the T word. I can't say it on YouTube, but I'll write it in here. Right? I spelled it wrong because I'm an idiot. Anyway, right? So that's what he's been going around calling people. Right? So anybody that stands up for the community, that's what you are to Paul Murphy and other TDs and that all. And you think that they're going to help you. You think that they're trustworthy. You think they're telling you the truth. Listen, Irish people throughout their history, because of our sufferings in our past, have helped loads of international communities out there. We've even accepted some of them into our country, and they've integrated, and we've never had an issue, right? The issue here is this, right? 80-90%, Helen McEntee has admitted this, are undocumented. Now, if you're okay with that, well then, good luck to you, right? But you're going to see scenes like France, Spain, and Italy. Because if you think these people are civilized that are coming into this country, you're wrong, right? Now, the way it should be in this country, and it should be everywhere actually, because it's logical. It's logical. But if you're coming into Ireland, then you're coming here to work. Okay? Now, if you come into this country and you don't get a job within the first year that you're here, well then it's bye-bye. Right? Another reason you should be able to come into this country is obviously if there's a war somewhere. But at the same time, we have to be very careful of the country that's actually at war and understand its history and its people and see if those people are viable into coming into this country and can integrate into our communities. See, that's the difference with what's going on today, right? When this used to happen back in the past, that's exactly the way it used to happen, right? Now we're taking people in from God knows where because they're ripping up their documents. And unfortunately, what the politicians don't understand and all of these idiots, lefty NGOs don't understand is that unfortunately there are some people out there on our planet that are not compatible with our way of life, our way of doing things, and our beliefs and our religion and all of that other stuff, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. This is the thing. Apparently, you say things like that, apparently you're right, but there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's just the way it is. Some countries have different rules for different things. It's just the way it is. Their people act differently to the way we act. That's just the way it is, right? And some, their countries and the way their people act and towards women and, all of those other minority groups that are in danger, they're not compatible with Irish society. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we're trying to force that. And it never works. It never works because what happens is then you create a vacuum, you see. Because then what happens is that the people that have come into this country then all of a sudden then are not happy with the way we do things here. So then our religion starts getting attacked. Or then, recently we saw a video of that Muslim woman who was saying that she was insulted by Irish banter. And that was brutal. And Irish people had to try to be kinder and nice. But that's just their way of doing things. If you don't like that, nobody forced you to come in here. Well, then you're free to go home. If not, shut up and put up. That's it. You chose to come here. We didn't ask you to come here. Right? We didn't ask you to come here. You came here because you thought Ireland would be whatever reason. Right? If you're genuine, right, and you came here and you thought you could make a better life in Ireland and you're walking away, right? You chose that. No, we didn't ask you to come here. And we're already seeing it as well. We're seeing it in the UK as well, but it's happening here. Christmas, First Holy Communion, Easter. We've seen it with Easter already. Now they're called, they're not called Easter eggs anymore. What did they call them? What was it? Gifting eggs or something like that, or whatever the feck it was, right? But you can't say Easter anymore. Christmas as well. Trust me, they're coming after Christmas, right? Before you know it, you won't be able to celebrate Christmas in Ireland because it'll be offensive to so many people. And this is the problem when you try to force integration into a country that with people that are not compatible with us. And as I said, there is nothing wrong with that. Oh dear, I tell you. It just really blows my mind. I'm not educated in the most prestigious schools in this country, or did I go to a prestigious college and all of that. But I got me head screwed on. I can see all of these things, but even Stevie Wonder can see what's happening in this country, and our politicians are just. I mean, I am just totally, amazed at how stupid these people actually are for people that are supposed to be the cream of the crop in this country, and we're well educated. Festive eggs. There you go. Festive eggs is what they call them, folks. Fucking festive eggs. Right? And Christmas will be changed as well. I'm telling you. You can't even say Merry Christmas in some parts of the world. Merry Christmas is offensive. Now they want you to say Happy Holidays or some shit like that. Right? It's Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas. Right? That's the way we say here in Ireland. And I'm never going to change that. Anyway, let's see what we got. A few people in the comments. So as I said, if your comment is safe enough to put up, and in relation to the guy that was in that video, Dave is his name. Yeah, I think you're right. It's Dave. He is a legend. He always has his dogs there as well, and they're really friendly. And as I said, he always has the little camera on because he has to. Yeah, London is bad as well. I mean, look, the evidence is there for people to see now. If people are still blinded by it, then, I mean, more fool them is what I say. As a political science major, I find Irish politics interesting, says Bobby D. Another person from me other channels. Nice to see so many is crossover here. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If Sinn Féin gets in, Hillary Clinton will be your president. Oh, geez, don't talk about Sinn Féin and Mary Lou McDonald. Sensible centrists are considered far right now. And then Bobby just added on to the Sinn Féin comment by PD or Queen. The vice president of the United States. Are you mad? Are you mad? Apparently I have to turn my mic off when playing the video. Okay, I'll do that next time. No problem, James. Thank you for that. As you said, the left and the media shields use similar tactics in other countries. Saying the far right makes it easier to not look at you as an individual. The left think more as a collective. The Borg. Assimilate. And PD Rich with some lovely, colourful words about the lefty wokies. There you go. We'll just leave it there, but you could see it for yourselves. RTE almost sound like RTD. Well, the BBC. Yeah, definitely. Actually, you're probably right. You're probably right, PD. Festive eggs. Festive eggs. There you go. Unbelievable. And integration and assimilation has gone out the window here too. And now, and of course, the intellectual sorry for anybody that doesn't know. If you haven't been following me on the other channels, I do find certain words very hard to pronounce because I've got a bit of a speech thing going, and it's annoying. So the intellectual elite lack all common sense. No, and I can never say that because, like, I'm an idiot. Ireland belongs to the Irish, says it's the Freemason who are behind the scenes controlling the government. Well, they can get the heck out of this country, can't they? I used to be a Sinn Féin voter, but I am okay now. You're not now or okay now? I think they probably meant not now. Listen, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. But all I'll say is if you vote for the current lot, you know, you're going to get more of the same. If you vote for Sinn Féin, you're going to get more of the same. So, you know, and make sure that you're actually still registered to vote, folks, because they have been playing dirty tricks with the register. Some people that have been registered before have went in to check that they're not unregistered. So make sure you're registered to vote. We got 70 people watching right now. We're also on X there as well. So if there's anybody on X and you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. Also, come on in here onto YouTube and leave a comment if you want to give an opinion on anything that we've just spoke about. So let's see, while we're here now and we're live, I'm going to see okay, so the Taoiseach, I will try throw this footage up onto the YouTube channels from News Talk, so I'll have to be careful. But the Taoiseach is appealing for calm and for people to take a deep breath amid tensions with the UK over immigrants. How about you grow backbone, Simon, and you know, do your fucking job. If not, go and do us all a favor and go to the Phoenix Park and tell the president, if he could still fucking do his job, that you're resigning as Taoiseach and you're calling a general election. And I've noticed over the last 24 hours, Helen McEntee, Simon Harris have been very strong in their words in saying that they're going to crack down on all of this. It's absolute bullshit, folks. Don't believe the narrative. The government here is trying to save face after the Newtown Mount Kennedy stuff. So, you know, anything that comes out of Helen McEntee's mouth or Simon Harris's mouth in relation to them cracking down is a load of my arse. Oh, I'm okay now. I will never vote for them again. It's Derek number 1. And there you go. We got some candidates out there who have support of local people, and that's great to see. As I said, you know, it's important that you get behind these nationalists, you know, especially the independent ones, because independents do have a tougher chance than, you know, the ones that are in parties. But the independent candidates are strong independent candidates. Like I said, Fergus Power, Kevin, Eric English, and there's many other local candidates running. And check out for your in your area to see if there is, and if not, alert those alert nationalists and we see if people from those communities can actually see if we can get someone from those communities. I think it's too late now for the locals. Simon the T-boy is running the country. We are screwed, I will say, but I get what you were saying there. But yeah, that's how to do it. See the way everybody, see the way Michael has done it there. You know, he spelled the word. If you are in the comment section, that's the way to do it, folks. That's how you get around YouTube's. Now, it might still be, but your comment will go up because I will make sure that it goes up. But if you write it that way, absolutely fine, right? Just want to give you all the best chance to get your comments up, because at the end of the day, you know, as I said, I want to get you involved as much as possible. So just bear with me there because I've been sent something. So just give us a second. Right, so just I'm just had to check in the messages there, and someone that's in the chat that I trust 100%. So the incident in Poolbeg apparently is an Irish person who's the victim, and has graphic injuries, including eyeball detached. Let's just say. So I have to be, see, this is YouTube. If this was Rumble, it'd be a different story. But Rumble, everybody says go to Rumble. But I'm on Rumble, and Rumble is crap. And it is. I'm sorry, but, you know, but YouTube shouldn't be doing this to people. We should be able to get the information out, especially if it's not misinformation. So that's apparently what's happened. The victim is Irish. I'm pretty sure if it's not going to be covered up by the media, we will get more details. But, well, we'll probably get details off media that would be willing to give the details. But I'm pretty sure RTE and all those other outlets will leave out a lot of details, which they normally do when they report any crimes in the city centre. They leave out the details, especially nationality and all of this other stuff, because they're a bunch of bloody morons, right, and sellouts. I mean, you would think that the Irish people that have lost their lives, the children that were involved in that incident on Parnell Street, you know, those two lads in Sligo, you think that would have been enough for that, for everybody to fucking turn on this government? I mean, I don't know what more it's going to bloody take. How much, see, I asked this question before and I didn't get an answer. I'm going to ask it again because it's relevant and because this is how actually bad it is and bleak it is. How much more Irish blood actually needs to be spilled before people say, oh, hang on a minute, maybe the so-called far right is telling the truth here? What's it going to take? Now, okay, Newtown Mount Kennedy lit another spark, but let's see now over this next week or two what happens, right? Will people still keep talking about this, or will it be quickly forgotten, as normally most things are by the left and the media and all of these people? So I will try, like other channels out there that are on YouTube that are involved in the movement, will be putting out their footage. We'll be sharing as much information as we can, which is, now I try to use all of the things available to me on YouTube. So I do throw up shorts, but not many, but I throw up some. But I do use the community tab quite a lot, as well as uploading videos. And what we'd like you guys to do, and like what we say on every other channel as well, and I've seen other channels, get that footage out there, share as much as you can, because the bottom line is we're fighting a machine here, right? And it's a very, well, the wheels are coming off it now, but it was a very well-oiled machine, right? You got the media, the NGOs, the government, all pushing the same way and all pushing the same narrative. But that narrative now is starting to fall apart and the wheels are starting to come off. But they're still trying with this last desperate attempt to get this hate speech bill passed. Apparently it's amended, but it still will stop people like myself and other YouTubers out there and other TikTokers and people that are on X throwing out all of this information will be stifled. We will be stifled. They will try to stop the flow of information. They're getting desperate now. This is why we need this government to actually go now, because Simon Harris has said that he's going to push through that hate speech bill. And that will be pushed through before next year, I guarantee you. So this is why we need a general election now. We need to stop that hate speech bill from ever seeing the light of day, because a new government will come in, or someone, unless it's Sinn Féin. If it's Sinn Féin, we're screwed, because they will re-amend the bill, and it'd be like living in North Korea in Ireland if Sinn Féin get in. And mark my words, Sinn Féin are not the answer. Right? But we need to get that bill dead and buried. End of story. There's no other way around it. Right? So even now they're trying to stop the flow of information. Right? They don't want any of this stuff getting out, because Newtown Mount Kennedy went global. There are YouTube channels out there that I've never seen speak about Ireland, all of a sudden speaking about Ireland and that little place in County Wicklow. So the government is panicking now. And this is why they've been coming out with the rhetoric the last 24 hours that they're going to get tough on this now. They're going to hold the UK government to task and all of this other bullshit that they come out and embarrassed us internationally with. Right? It's all talk from a government that knows that they're on their last legs. But we've got to make sure that they don't worm their way out of this and end up surviving until next year's general election. We've got to get them out now. And this is why, when you saw the crowds gather the day after that riot squad did what they did in Newtown Mount Kennedy, this is why the Gardaí did absolutely F all the next day. They knew if they put a foot wrong, or the public order unit put a foot wrong, that was it. Right? So they would have been ordered not to do that. The Gardaí in this country are acting like the Black and Tans. And they think because, you know, the Irish people are our generation, or the generations that have come before us, haven't experienced what previous Irish people had to experience during our times of revolution and fight back. They think that we're soft, right? But we've got that Irish fighting spirit. We've got that Irish fighting spirit, and you've rewoken the Irish people. Irish people are proud to be Irish. It's do you know what? You've reignited the passion for this country. You've reignited the fire that we had lost as Irish people, because we did lose that fire. But we've got that fire back, and that fire is burning brightly. And I can tell you, it'll never be extinguished again. So Simon Harris and Helen McEntee, this is my message to you guys directly. If you think we're going to back down, you're so sorely mistaken. If you think that by using the tactics that you've deployed is going to stop Irish people, you're absolutely wrong. We will not stop until you guys are out of government. And then, when we're in a position of power and we can actually put you up on charges of treason, that's exactly what's going to happen. And you will see a prison cell. You will see a prison cell. Now, others will say that you deserve more. And they're probably right. But we live in a civilized country. And you are lucky, to be quite honest, that we live in a civilized country. And we're not that way. The Irish people are not going to stop. I'm 60 from Belfast, from West Belfast, says Michael. Welcome, it's nice to see you. Mark C says, happening all over Europe now. Watch your white media, don't cover it. What I see in Newtown, Mount Kennedy, looks so much like the Andy Town Road during the 70s and the 80s. We don't listen. Before all of this, I'm a geek. I like me sci-fi, right? I like me quizzes. I like, I like me action movies. I like me sci-fi movies, right? I liked the Marvel universe up until a certain point. DC, that was my game, right? None of us that are in this movement want to be doing this, but we've no choice. We've no choice, right? I'd rather be sitting here watching me DVDs and playing me games and, doing me geeky shit. Right? We all want their comfortable lives back. So in order to get our comfortable lives back, we've got to do something about it. We've got to get up off our arse. We've got to show our faces. We've got to be seen out there. Because, I've noticed since I've got involved that every protest that I've been to, the numbers just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And they will continue, especially after Newtown, Mount Kennedy. And then you're seeing the protest, short notice, and all of those people turn up. If they had waited a couple of days, the crowd probably would have been 2-3 times more than that. People coming from all over the country supporting the locals. And that's why I say to those other local communities out there, and there may be some people listening now and your community hasn't been hit right now. And you're probably listening to me and you're probably saying, Jesus, it's bad what's going on out there. But do not make the same mistake as some of these communities out there. If you're offered help by people from Dublin, will be the people that will actually highlight your plight to the rest of everybody in the country, right? Because as I said, RTE, Virgin Media, and all of the other mainstream media are not going to highlight your plight, right? So you need to forget about this far right narrative. Whether you agree or not is besides the point now, right? But there isn't. I can tell you out straight now here, there isn't. Whether you believe me or not, that's up to you, right? But I can tell you there's not. But if you do believe, you need to put that aside anyway. Because the bottom line is, there'll be nobody else out there that will highlight your plight in this country. It's as simple as that, right? So people need to stop listening to the media, though. And you need to stop listening to these lefty TDs and these NGOs, right? There is no far right in Ireland, right? Those people that they label far right, their communities were hit first, right? So they have seen what happens when undocumented migrants come into their community, right? They've seen the damage, right? So this is why they try to warn other communities. And when they see it in other communities, they try to go down there and support. But as your woman Aoife there said in the RTE, we went to the community garden to get rid of them because we didn't like those types here. Right? But then you had no problem inviting all those types down when your community, when it got worse. And that's my point. Right? That's my point. Even after you insult these people and tell them they're not welcome, when you invite them down, they put that aside and they come down and support you. They come down and support you. They still support you. Even though you probably called them horrible names, they still support you. So it's important that other communities out there do not make the same mistake as other communities out there. You embrace these people, they will help you. They will help get your plight out there for everybody to see. Thoughts on who to vote for on upcoming local elections? Well, it depends on the area that you're voting in. But if you live in if you're living in areas where Fergus Power is running, I would support him. Kevin is running in Coolock, as far as I know. Coolock and is it Darndale, I think. He's a local independent candidate, and you've got Eric English, who's actually running in his community. So, like, they're local candidates. As for the parties, I don't know who you should vote for, to be quite honest. It's not my place to tell you who to vote for, in fairness. That's a choice you'll have to make yourself. But what I would say is vote Nationalist, right? To be fair on everybody that's out there, I will say vote Nationalist. If you vote Sinn Féin, you're getting more of the same. If you vote Social Democrats and all of these other parties that are claiming to be different, you're getting more of the same, right? So vote Nationalist is what I would tell you. And that's the best way, to be fair to everybody that's running. The only far right is the government and the Garda. Well, they certainly haven't, as I said, they certainly haven't shown themselves in a good light recently. But they haven't been. And the people that, you all criticise, or these communities criticise, have been the subject of Garda brutality anyway, ever since they spoke up. So this is not new. This is not new. It's just Newtown Mount Kennedy was so big that there was no way that they could actually cover it up. So, it's happened before. There's been other incidents. When we were at the customs, when we marched from the Garden Remembrance to the Customs House, and the Garda Commissioner refused to let our march go down a different route because the left were having their march on O'Connell Street. But they thought, the Garda Commissioner of this country thought it was a great idea for the two protests to meet on O'Connell Street. And it was a deliberate attempt by the Garda Commissioner and people in charge to try and incite some violence. But unfortunately for them, we were wise to their little rules, and we knew what they were up to. And there was screaming back and forth, but that was it. Everybody moved on. We went to the customs. Now, because we didn't take the bait, after the protest dispersed, Gardaí cornered 20 people, which included women and children, with their flags, and took their flags off them, and all of this other stuff, because they didn't get what they wanted, right? They needed something, so they picked on 20 innocent people that were walking home, by the way. They had left the area where the protest had begun, right? And as soon as they got around the corner, they were all public order unit moved in, right? We've seen these tactics time and time again, but RTE and all the mainstream media don't show you all of this. And if they do show you footage, right, they always show you heavily edited footage, right? You will always get the full footage somewhere on social media, because there's someone that always throws it up, because they don't care the consequences. They want to get it all out, because things are taken out of context in this country as well. Like when they accused the people, I forget which, where it was, but they accused people of born in I think it was in the was it in the Wicklow Mountains or something, Dublin Mountain, or whatever it was. There was a camp, and they accused them of destroying the camp, and then there was another incident in a block of flats where the residents were accused of burning a migrant camp, but what they actually did was the camp had to clear it off, and they swept all the dirt and all of the crap together, and they set it on fire because it was the best way, and then they could shovel it up. But RTE made out that they actually burned migrant camps, when that never actually happened, and the full footage actually shows exactly what happened. But RTE showed a heavily edited version of that and left out the other part where it actually showed all of these events. So, as I said to those communities out there, listen, you know, by all means, as I said, these people will still turn up, but you need to stop turning these people away. They just want to help. They want to get they want to get everything out there so the Irish people can see what's happening to your community and communities up and down this country. So I would urge us all to put all of this far right nonsense to the side, whether you believe it or not. You just need to be embracing these people, because these people will help get that information out there and let people know in this country what's happening to your little community. All we want to do is help. And if the Gardaí, listen, the bottom line is the Gardaí will follow these people around wherever they go. If they know they're in an area like Newtown, Mount Kennedy, they'll follow them anyway, because the Gardaí have to follow them now, because they've set this narrative up that these people are the boogie men, that they're the far right, that this, that, and the other, and they can't be trusted, and they're lying and all of this. So they go there because they want to provoke people. And that's why I think the Gardaí are absolutely disgusting, and they're out. But they shouldn't be reading that out, because they're not doing their job. They're not doing their job, and it's absolutely disgraceful. It is. It's disgraceful. It shouldn't be happening in this country, this beautiful country of ours. And beyond no illusion, this is a beautiful country, or it was, until these wankers got a part of it, got a hold of it, right? Our people are nice people. They're easy going. Yeah, our banter is vicious, but that's what's good about us, right? We got a sense of humour. We could take the piss out of ourselves. We could take the piss out of everybody else. Yeah, and now we have people in this country that are living here. Oh, I don't like when Irish people take the piss out of me. I feel offended. Well, see you later. Bye-bye. Au revoir. That's French, by the way, but au revoir. Bye-bye. Listen, I've been called worse than that. The lads in the chat there that have the wrenches, they're me mods. They'll tell you what I've been called. I've been called every name under the sun now, right? They've even went as far as they even went as far as to say that they were going to delete me, right? That's the way you say that word for the other word that you can't say. But yeah, they sent me pictures of let's just say heads, but without the bodies, right? And told me that was going to happen to me during the pandemic. They couldn't wait for me to get the old virus, because they wanted me to delete from that as well. They also threatened me dog, threatened me wife. So listen, far right is the last. That's the last. Do you think that far right? That does not bother me in the slightest. Listen, I've gotten worse. And even still to this day, I said I'm a bit of a geek, so I talk about sci-fi on the other channel, Doctor Who, and the fans in that fandom hate me as well. And they're the ones that did all of that stuff that I just explained to you there, over having an opinion about a TV show. This is the kind of the society we're living in, right? Everybody is offended by everything. Everybody is me. Everybody is a victim. And you know what? The sad thing is that none of them are, right? They've just been programmed to believe that they are. And it's absolutely mind-boggling. Anyway, let's hold on. Anyway, sorry, I just got a private message there that I had to respond to, but that was funny. Let me see. I'm just checking to see if there's any more. So as I said, the Taoiseach is appealing for calm He's a bit of an idiot. Oh yeah. So a video has surfaced on social media, and I can't actually throw it up, but I will put the link up in the community chat now that I know I can get around it by doing that. But there's a disturbing video going around anyway of a migrant threatening to do some harm in this country to the sort of threats that happen in France, let's just say, and he's threatened harm. Now, apparently, the Gardaí there it's an Irish Daily Mirror exclusive. Apparently, they're going to be investigating it. They need to do more than investigate this. The person that made the threats is from Algeria. And what I would just say is that when you get a hold of them, the first thing you do is you drive them to Dublin Airport and you get them on a plane back to Algeria. That's how an Irish government should be acting. Anybody makes those sort of threats against Irish people or buildings in this country should be absolutely deported ASAP. There is no second chances here. You're gone. Also, you've probably seen the footage of Leo Varadkar out having a coffee with his pal or whoever that person was he was having a coffee with, being told that he's an absolute traitor and all of that. Now, of course, the left have reacted to that and think that's absolutely disgusting. Well, what I actually think is disgusting is the fact that 3 kids were nearly deleted in this country. Aisling Murphy and the 2 lads from Sligo were deleted in this country. That's what's outrageous. Right, what we've seen in Newtown Mount Kennedy is outrageous. Someone telling Leo that he's a piece of shit is not outrageous. It's the least he can get. And the fact that, again, for people that are supposed to be dangerous, the fact of the matter is the man is able to sit there and have a coffee even though he ruined the fucking country. Because that's the type of fucking people we are. Right? Okay? If this was any other time in their fucking history, do you think he'd be able to sit there and have a fucking coffee? Probably fucking not. Right? But he is able to fucking get on with his life and have a fucking coffee. But all these fucking bullshit will catch up on him anyway, because he'll be the first one going to fucking prison. Right? So he can enjoy his little fucking time there and his coffees, because the next time he has fucking coffee, when nationalists take over, it will be in fucking prison. So yeah, again, the things that outrage the left, right? The so-called Dublin riot and the looting, not the fact that the incident that started it all in the first place, which was the 3 kids nearly being deleted and a creche worker, right? They were outraged more about buses being burnt and the Lewis, right? And then when people brought up about the fact who deleted Aisling Murphy, oh, you're racist to bring up his nationality. Right? Right? You are racist if you brought up the nationality of that person too. Right? That's what they were outraged about. They weren't outraged about the things they should be outraged about. And also, you've probably seen it as well that builders have down tools in County Wicklow, in Agram Hotel. And, I'll put that video footage up. And, we need more builders like that to understand, that, is profit more important to you than the safety and the will of your own people? And this builder did the right thing. So, fair play, and it must be called out and commended, because, for them to do that, is absolutely amazing. And we need more builders like that, and we need more people out there that have benefited from this to do the same. It's, you know, at the end of the day, you've got to think of your own families as well, right? And you're putting your own families in direct danger by helping out with this whole situation. So, you know, I would say to other builders out there, follow the example of these builders in Wicklow and Down Tools. You know, do the right thing. Do the right thing by your people. Now, of course, we had Barry Andrews 17 hours ago saying there's a threat to democracy. He fears on threats to politicians and his fears for democracy. And this is in relation to apparently Helen McEntee's family have received threats with the boom of the boom kind. I don't believe it for 1 second, by the way. I've got to be honest with you. I think it's absolute bullshit. And he says that he fears for democracy. Well, you fear for democracy, you're destroying democracy. So yeah, you're the wrong person to be fearful of democracy because you're trying to, but we are fearful for our democracy and our freedom of speech and all of these other things that you want to take away. So, you know, absolute bullshit there from Barry. But what do you expect from all of these? But again, see Virgin Media now straight away changing the narrative. And it was actually, do you know what? By the way, you don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure this out. So Newtown Mount Kennedy happened, and all the video footage showed how the Gardaí were brutalising the Irish people, right? And then the next day that night, we hear the news that Helen McEntee's house was threatened, right? Listen, if you believe that, right, then okay, fair enough, you're a plank. And we've got plenty in our society. I should have known better, right? But this is clearly designed to distract you away from what happened in Newtown Mount Kennedy, right? There's no Irish person out there. And by the way, if someone has genuinely done this, you're a piece of shit anyway. And I'll say it out straight, you are a piece of shit. And I'll explain why you're a piece of shit. No matter what your opinions are of Helen McEntee and how angry you are of that woman, she does have a young family. And to make those sort of threats on her family home and her 2 young kids are there, right? They're innocent lives. They're all innocent lives, right? So if there is someone that has actually gone out and done that, well then fucking shame on you, and I hope they do find out who it is. But I got to be honest, I don't believe that is the case. I believe that this is just the typical distraction tactic that they use when something goes wrong for the government. Then they counter it with, oh, look, we got something to report here. This is what happened. Right? So I don't believe it. But if it did happen, then there are some people out there that have clearly snapped. And then the Irish government have a lot to answer for because that's them. Now, when I spoke on my first live stream here, right, I told everybody out there, and I made it clear to Helen McEntee, right, because we were hearing this narrative that the far right is radicalising people, right? This was the narrative that they were coming out with last year, right? And I'll explain it again, just in case anybody missed the first stream that I did, right? So, this is what I said. I said, the far right have not, because there's no far right in this country, the far right have not radicalised the Irish people against the government and against this policy. Helen McEntee, Leo Varadkar, Micheál Martin, and all of you gobshites in Dáil Éireann radicalised the Irish people. See, Instead of listening to the Irish people on the concerns that they had, you decided to come out and call them racist. Then you start coming out with this far right narrative. Then you use the police to brutalise your own people. So if you want to know who radicalised the Irish people, just look in a mirror and look long and hard at yourselves, because yous are the people that have radicalised us against yous. And rightly fucking so. Yous are lunatics. And as I said, we're not going to stop. You could throw whatever yous want at us. Even bringing water cannons down from the north. Yous are disgusting. Even for that act alone, yous are disgusting. You think water cannons are going to stop us? You think we don't know what tactics to employ with water cannons when we've seen how they use water cannons in the north? And if Gardaí are actually using these water cannons, well, we've seen they have to be trained to beat up Irish people. So how do you expect them to use a fucking water cannon against us? But if you think that's acceptable, or you think that's going to stop people from getting out there, you're sorely mistaken. But be under no illusion. Look long and hard at yourself in a mirror, because you are the people that radicalised us. And I want to thank you, by the way, because as I said, you relit that fire in all Irish people that was lost. And they will do what it takes to defend our country in the right manner. And that's what we've done so far. And all of these incidents that are happening with these buildings going up has nothing to do with us. I would say, and I said to a detective out there, right, do your fucking job, because I feel it, because they use the same tactics in America. They've used it all over Europe, right? Now look no further than Antifa if you want to know who's responsible for all of these places going up. They need to push this far right narrative. They're trying to frame these so-called far rights. Right? I'll say it out straight. Right? They're the people you should be looking at. But unfortunately, your Garda commissioner had a sticker of Antifa pinned to a wall at the Garda headquarters. So again, we can't expect you guys to actually do your job and actually find these people. And I know you have arrested some people in relation to some of these fires, but none of these people have ever been related to any of these protests, which is funny. Because this whole far-right narrative that you are trying to connect, because if they were connected, it'd be all over the media right now, right? Because that's the thing they'd focus on. Fires that of places here marked connected to the far right. They'd have the evidence, but they don't, because they're not connected, and they never were, right? But I'm pretty sure if you dig deep, you'll find connections to the left, because that's who's really responsible for all the chaos. As I said, there's a lot of us that just want the easy life. We just want to go back to when things made sense, when people were rational, when people were sane, and when facts outweighed lies and fucking falsehoods. But that's not the society that we're living in, and it's not just here, it's everywhere. And you know, as I said, we're all in this together. We're fighting here in their part of the corner of the world. The rest of you out there that are listening, and there's problems in our own countries, you need to get out there. I'm not saying that none of you in the chat don't get out there, but what I'm saying is the people that are listening here, if you haven't got out there, get out there and support your people. It's the only way that we win this, by showing strength, numbers. Remember, that's what, or people need to wake up. We outnumber them. We outnumber them everywhere around the world. We outnumber them, right? We don't even have to do. See, this is what I'm saying. Some people were saying we should go down the other route. We don't even need to. We've got the numbers. If everybody just got out there, it's game over, right? You don't even have to do anything. Just get out there, it's game over. There's more of us than there is them. If the will of the people, if they're not willing to listen to the will of the people, right, then the rest of the people need to get out there and help. It's as simple as that, right? But we got the numbers. We've always outnumbered them. And I think people have forgotten that you guys ultimately hold the power over these people. Yes, okay, people will make the point that, well, in some countries you have, they'll turn their military on them and all of that. Okay? But not in all countries. Okay, Irish government's using the Gardaí. But they're heavily unprepared to handle this situation. They've already proved that you had to be trained for Newtown Mount Kennedy. And that's not fair on them either. Because I've been highly critical of the Gardaí and I'll never trust a Garda again. But I'm not naive to think that there aren't good Gardaí in that force. It's just unfortunately the bad apples are obviously loving what's happening here now because all of their dark issues that they had and all their dark impulses, come to the surface and they beat the shit out of people, right? But like everything, like every part of society as well, right, there are a few bad apples and some of them are actually good. But the bottom line is that those good Gardaí out there, you know what you need to do? You need to band together and you need to split away from these fucking lunatics that are in your organisation and come out and speak up about what's happening in this country and say that it's wrong and you disagree with the tactics that are being used against the Irish people. I mean, that fucking Garda oath has to mean something to some of you out there. The Irish farmers have let us down. The Gardaí have let us down. The government. And as I said, if it wasn't for those people in local communities, we wouldn't be where we are today. And I am very grateful actually to know a lot of them, I've got to say. And it's an honour and a pleasure to be standing alongside them. But time is running out. And, it's time that the rest of the country, and I say Newtown Mount Kennedy did open a lot of eyes, but, let's not have more incidents like that to make the rest of the people open their eyes. It's time that you open your eyes now. And as I said to those communities that are out there, don't turn these people away when they're trying to help. Because in 6, 7, 8 weeks' time, or maybe a couple of months' time, right, you'll be in the same situation as Newtown Mount Kennedy, right? And apparently, the Gardaí video that I showed you at the start of this stream, so the migrants that were in that video, were in that camp, they're the ones that are supposed to be earmarked to be going to Newtown Mount Kennedy. So, they're basically, the Irish government is doing, they're trying to cover up the shit show that it is and move these down to a nice little town. And the dynamic of that town will be completely changed. And it's funny because loitering apparently is against the law in this country, but these people just loiter everywhere they go and nothing is ever, they're never moved on or anything like that. you know, the Gardaí don't do their job when it comes to the migrants in this country, but they do it when it's an Irish person or a bunch of lads standing talking around talking. And not all lads that stand around are up to anything. But like if Gardaí approach them, they're told to move on. But yeah, you have a law, go to Moore Street, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's absolutely ridiculous, like, you know. So that's it, really. But you see, kind of a bit wary now because everything is a bit okay. There's been a couple of incidents, and if I get any more, who we got in the chat? We before military use, they can chemtrail deter and electronic deter. They're already doing it. Warren is in the chat as well. Welcome, Warren. Interesting. Hold on. Right, so there is a main protest happening on May the 6th in Dublin City. So so we'll be gearing up for that one. If we're going there or Newtown, Mount Kennedy, I'll find out now. I'll let you know on the next live stream what the story is there, because I've got to talk to the people that I'm in the chat with and see what they're doing. And if they're going there, we'll be all in Dublin. So I'll be recording some footage. Obviously, I'll try to get as many of the speakers that I can for you. I'll see if on the day I can actually go live on YouTube using my phone. I do have phone data, so I don't have to worry about that. So if I can actually go live on YouTube while I'm there, I will be live, folks, right? If not, what I'll do is I will record as much footage as I can get my hands on, and then I'll upload it for you guys then so you could share. So, because, you know, the media, again, lie about the numbers that turn up at these protests. So, you know, I'll let you know closer to the day anyway, whether I'll be going live or taking the footage, because what I might do is, actually, do you know what? Look out for, I might do a test live stream on my phone in the next couple of days just to see if I can do it. And if I can do it, then we'll be live then when I go there. And we'll be starting off at the Garden Remembrance, and we'll be walking down, I think we'll be going the same route, and we'll probably be walking down O'Connell Street then, and then we'll turn off there just before we hit O'Connell Bridge to the left there and straight up to the customs. So yeah, and then obviously there'll be speeches there. I'll show you the crowd, you know, and then you can judge for yourselves, actually, you know, and then you can watch how the media report on it, and then look at the footage, and you tell me, is it the way the media have portrayed it? And I'm telling you now, you will see for yourselves, right? All we're there for is because we're concerned about what's happening in this country, and we have every right to protest peacefully, and that's what we try to do. But, you know, there's others out there, including the Garda Síochána, who are intent on inciting something to happen, and, you know, it's absolutely ridiculous. So that's why we always, all of us that are there, we always record everything, or you have Philip Dwyer just go live, does his live streams and all of that, and other people go live as well, because it's the only way of us getting our message across to the rest of the world out there, what's happening in this country. Because, you know, as I said, and I'll say it again, the international support that we've gotten off people in the comment section, especially on my channel, I just want to tell you that it means the world to me, right? And I know I've been shared in the comments as well to other nationalists out there, and they've even said it's given them an uplifting belief and stuff like that. And I have to say, it really does mean the world to us. So thank you very much for the support throughout all of this. And I really do hope that there are people out there seeing this and are inspired. And I hope you are proud of us as a people, that we've shown that, we're not going to take this line down. There's been this narrative that Irish people have become lazy and we're going to go the same way as other countries. But I think we have proven beyond a doubt that we're not like other people. And when their backs are to the wall, that's when you see the best of our people. And I'm proud. I am very proud of my people. I'm very proud of what we've achieved so far. And there's so much more to achieve. But that international support on the bad days gives us the lift that we need. So thank you, everybody that supports this channel and supports other Irish nationalists out there that are doing the same work as I'm doing. We really do appreciate it. And if you could share the streams, absolutely brilliant. If you could comment, absolutely brilliant. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And we'll try to keep you up to date as much as we can. But I'll leave it there for now. And as I said, just stay safe and look after yourselves. And until the next time, bye-bye. Talk to you soon.